Now that we've collected our resin, the next step is to clean or filter it. You could just eat it straight off the tree if you find really good quality resin, but this is very rare and you don't want to rely on it. There's all sorts of ways to do this, and I've done a lot of experiments. And here is the simplest way I've found. So you're going to melt it and pour it through a filter so it comes out crystal clear. Here is the oven method. Step 1. Line a wide mouth jar with parchment paper. Crinkling it a bit first helps. You're going to want to get it as deep as you can with no holes in it. You can throw a mini metal strainer on top. Usually these fit in a wide mouth jar perfectly, but the holes are pretty big in these strainers, and some particles will fall through. If you want crystal clear resin, you can also add a thin layer of cheesecloth to the strainer. Another option is to just use cheesecloth. You can create a little groove or basket in the jar. You want to use a few layers of cheesecloth. You could also use a nut milk bag or cotton cloth for this. Make sure the cloth sits at least 1 inch above the parchment paper or the bottom of the jar. You'll probably need something to hold this cotton cloth in place. So you can use a metal wire, a piece of natural twine that isn't plastic and going to melt in the oven. Or if it fits, you can use the ring of the jar. If you want to process a lot of resin at once, just keep adding resin as it melts and gives you more room in your little basket you created. Step 2, you're going to put your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Then put a baking tray or something flat and metal in the oven that you can put this jar on top of. It might be smart to line it with parchment paper in case some resin drips onto it. The tray also helps the jar to not tip. After an hour in the oven, most of the resin should have fallen through the filter into the parchment paper or tinfoil that you've used to line the jar. You can keep it in the oven and add some more resin to this basket, or if you're done, take it out of the oven. Step 3, you're going to take off that filter that you put on top, because as you wait, it's going to start to harden and it's going to stick to your jar. Put your filter aside on a piece of paper or parchment paper to cool. If you're using the strainer method, wait till it hardens completely and then push the strainer and bend it, and it should shatter and pop right out. You can continue to bend this metal strainer to clean it. All of the resin should shatter off if it's cold enough. Use this discarded debris and resin as fire starter. Here's a little disclaimer. Pine resin is very flammable, so if you put it too close to a flame, it could ignite. The flame can jump a couple inches to the resin due to gases that are being released from the resin. So you'll want to keep it a few inches away from any open flame. If you're using a gas oven, just keep it as far away from the flame as you can and you should be fine. Step 4 is optional, but now's your chance while it's still nice and hot to add any flavors, sweeteners, or water to your resin. I like to put some tea berry or peppermint or something like that in a spice grinder, grind it really fine, and then just sprinkle it in. You can also add xylitol, stevia, honey, or other natural flavors. Honey will make it more malleable, stretchy, and give you more time to work with it before it becomes brittle. It can be fun to stretch it and play with it, and it can add a nice sheen to it. To get the same effect without honey, you can add a 1/4 teaspoon of water and stir this with a disposable stick. When you add moisture to it, it also makes it more opaque and less see-through and crystal clear.
The gum will lose its sweet taste after a while. What they used to do was keep a little dish of icing sugar nearby and dip it in periodically.
Step 5, this is where you're going to form it into individual chunks of gum. After waiting 10 or 15 minutes, it should be cooled down enough so that you can work with it and take it off of this parchment paper or tinfoil that you've used to line your jar. So you're going to remove the tinfoil from the jar, keeping the resin in the bottom. Then you're just going to see if it's still runny. If it's still runny, it's not cool enough. You could cool it artificially with some cold, lukewarm water or put it in the fridge for a minute. If you do it this way, you could get some spots more brittle than others, and then it's hard to work with, especially if you don't add any moisture to it. If you wait too long, it becomes hard and brittle, and then it won't stretch and you can't form it. So it should all come off in one clump. Then you can roll it into a long stick and you can shape it, and then you take a straight edge and you score individual pieces of gum into this long stick while it's in between the state of a liquid and a solid. After another minute or two, it should get hard enough where it shatters and you can break these individual pieces apart very easily. Then you can store it in a container. You can roll it in some cornstarch or icing sugar or something that's going to help these pieces not stick together if they get too warm. Or what I like to do is wrap them individually with little squares of parchment paper. This is great because when you're chewing it, you can spit it out into this parchment paper. You can save it for later. When you first try to chew this spruce gum, it's going to shatter in your mouth. This is normal, but it will be a surprise since you aren't used to this type of gum. You're used to latex-based gums. This is only because it's hard at room temperature. As soon as it gets in your mouth and you chew it a few times, it will soften up. Just make sure you keep it in one side of your mouth and try to keep it together as much as possible until it turns into gum and goes into one big clump. It will turn into the perfect texture of gum. It will be stringy and stretchy, but it won't be like bubble gum that is a lot thinner. And you can swallow this gum. It actually may be beneficial for your stomach and for your health. If you heat up your gum too much, let's say you brought it to 400 degrees instead of 275, it might get brittle and it will shatter in your mouth and it will just turn into sand. It won't actually turn into gum. If it was too soft and you collected the sticky resin, it's going to be a little bit sticky in your teeth. If it does stick to your teeth, that's okay. It'll come out eventually. Also, flossing can help. Now that you've made your own gum, go ahead and share it with others. I guarantee you they've never tried spruce gum before. And now that you have the knowledge, you can spread that and share it with other people. We have a Telegram community that you can join, and you can ask questions about making gum, or you can share your results in that group. I hope to see you there. Thank you for checking out this course and trusting me, and I hope you make some amazing gum.